Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Misma Passion, YouTube's premium channel about all things women's football, and with the round of 16 being firmly in the rear-view mirror, the quarterfinals of the FIFA Women's World Cup is upon us, and here in this video we're going to break down the winners, losers, MVP, the best 11, and of course the predictions for the quarterfinals here. Without further ado, let's get into the winners of the round of 16 here, starting with Australia. Now, being the last co-host standing on the back of New Zealand's early elimination from the Women's World Cup, the Matildas have put on a very good account of themselves throughout the group stages and here in the round of 16 where they faced off against Denmark, which is a very defensively rigid team to get past, and the Matildas did very well to give themselves a good account of their attacking prowess, especially since even though she has been cleared for action, Sam Kerr has still not featured so far in the Women's World Cup apart from a brief cameo against Denmark, but by that time the Australians had already wrapped up the victory here. Now, going into the quarterfinals here, the Matildas are definitely going to be up against it as they face off against Les Bleus of France, which will definitely be a hard-hitting and entertaining encounter here. But so far, given their display against Denmark, I do back Australia to go and get the result here because they've been a very good team to watch and they're a very well-oiled machine like our next team here, which is Japan. And there isn't enough adjectives or superlatives that can be used to describe just how good the Nadeshiko have been at this World Cup here. Now, obviously going into this match, they were facing off against Norway, which was definitely one of the most mouth-watering encounters here in the round of 16 of the Women's World Cup. And whilst Japan started off very well, they seemed to kind of lose their identity as Norway came back, but eventually they did find their footing again, and I think that is still going to be a very good thing that plays into Japan's match here against Sweden here, because Sweden do have the kind of personnel that is akin to Norway. Obviously a little less attacking prowess is evident in the Sweden team here, but I do think that the defensive astuteness of the likes of Ilestedt will definitely give Sweden the upper hand against the Japanese here. But of course, this is the Nadeshiko we're talking about. They are definitely going to give a very good account and a very good fight in this match, and of course I do back them to get the result here against Sweden. But other than that, it has been a very good round of 16 affair for Japan here. Of course, they did face off against Norway and that was a very nail-biting encounter, but Japan did well to navigate themselves out of that situation. So Japan are the next winners here, and our final winners here is none other than Spain here. I know, somewhat controversial if you were thinking of a different team here, but on the back of the humiliating defeat against Japan here we've just mentioned about, Spain did very well to bounce back against Switzerland, and not just bounce back but in emphatic fashion here, because their demolition of Switzerland really showed that the team is finally getting itself back to its operating capacity of just world-class football here, with the likes of Bonmati and Redondo definitely being the troublemakers here in the encounter against the Netherlands here, which will definitely be a mouth-watering encounter as well here. But Spain have done well here to bring themselves back off the brink of that humiliating defeat, especially against Switzerland, who, given that they were playing a very boring style of football that was just aimed to frustrate the opposition before pouncing on their frustration, Spain did very well for themselves by not falling into that trap and actually bringing the fight to Switzerland. And of course, they ended up resounding winners against their opposition that day, to the point that they were so kind to even give an own goal just so that the Swiss could go with something. And for the losers, we start with a recurring loser here, and that is Banyana Banyana, aka South Africa, but for entirely different reasons than before here. Now, in the last video that I made here detailing the winners and losers in ETC, South Africa, I had said they were losers simply because they made their advancement to the round of 16 so hard for themselves, considering that they were leading in their first two matches and they went on to lose and draw respectively there. So that's why I call South Africa losers here. But in this case, I call them losers because they just simply couldn't get the result against the Netherlands, because in that match that they had in the round of 16, I do believe that they were the better team. They had some very opportunistic shots that should have gone in had it not been for the goalkeeping heroics of Van Domselaar here. So it is very unfortunate because in this game, Banyana Banyana did put a very excellent showing here. They pretty much played the way they did in the group stages, and the Netherlands at most parts, they just didn't know how to handle them. And again, if it had not been for Van Domselaar, the Netherlands would have been the ones going home here. So unfortunately South Africa, that's why they're the losers. Not because that they were poor, but simply because things did not go their way here. But on to our next losers, and we have Sweden themselves. Now, Sweden have made history by knocking out the United States of America, and while that was very thrilling and gripping to watch go down, especially live, it was due to the penalty shootouts, and throughout the game itself, Sweden were lucky to be in the game here thanks to the heroics of Musovic, who just like Van Domsela kept her team in and made sure that the USA, despite its best attempts, because they had the lion's share of possession and shots here on target, she made sure that Sweden would stay in the game all the way through the penalty shootouts, where she was one of the heroes of the shootouts alongside Lena Hurtig here. Now, the reason why I say Sweden are the losers is because their lack of attacking prowess is definitely going to be something that hinders them against Japan here, who they're going to be facing in the quarterfinals. And because of that, I do feel that even though they're more defensively astute, Japan have easily unlocked any defense so far in this Women's World Cup, and in spite of the physical mismatch between the Japanese and the Norwegians in their round of 16 match, they were still able to see out the victory here in spite of those differences. And even though Sweden will definitely bring a physical element in their game here, I think that's not going to be enough to stop the Japanese pain train here. So for that reason, I do believe that Sweden are going to be one of the losers here for the round of 16. And our final losers are of course the three Lionesses of England. Now yes, England did manage to ease out a penalty shootout victory against the Nigerian Super Falcons here, but throughout the entire game, England didn't really seem up to the task here, as even before Lauren James was sent off, the three Lionesses were struggling to come up with chances that were clear-cut and able to really threaten Shamaka Nadozi, but they were unable to do so. And even after Lauren James came off, yes, England did pick up a bit, but they still struggled throughout the rest of the match, and that includes extra time as well. Now, not only are they losers because of their poor performance against the Nigerians, they're also losers because they have lost their talisman Lauren James because of suspension here. And it is not undeniable to say that Lauren James has been the most important player for England so far in their World Cup campaign, because they struggled in their first group stage game. Then when Lauren James came on in the second game, England were completely revitalized, and she was definitely the most creative and most threatening player on that pitch there for the three Lionesses. And in her absence, as England go up against Colombia, they will definitely struggle to create chances. Yes, they'll be very good in midfield and defense, but this is Colombia we're talking about. They are definitely one of the hardest teams to go up against when it comes to stopping their attack here, with the likes of Caicedo, Usman, and Ramirez definitely being a threat against the three Lionesses here. And I think they'll definitely struggle, even though they are the favorites going into this match, but we will see. And those are the winners and losers of the Women's World Cup's round of 16 here. And for the MVP, this was very tough to pick out here, but I've gone with Aitana Bonmati of Spain here. I do think that the way she performed against Switzerland was simply out of this world. She played out of her skin, and at the end of the game, she didn't even look like she was tired. She looked like she could go for 90 more minutes. So I think she's the MVP here. Of course, if you don't agree with this pick, please make sure to leave in the comments who you think should be the MVP. But going on to our best 11, as you can see on your screen now, this is the best 11 that I've chosen based on the player performances. Again, if you don't agree with one of the players in there or the entire first 11, you're free to just post in the comments who you think should be there. But this is the team that I've gone with based on their performances individually. And again, this is all just a matter of my personal opinion, and of course all opinions are welcome here. And finally, for the predictions here, I predict that Netherlands, Japan, Colombia, and Australia will make it to the semi-finals here of the Women's World Cup, just based on their performances in the World Cup so far, not only the round of 16 but also the group stages here. Those are my picks. Of course, leave in the comments your picks for the semi-finals. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and goodbye for now.